Namaste everyone, welcome to Yoga As It Is. Today we're going to discuss the topic on Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga is mentioned in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is, the literal translation is Ashta means 8, as we all know Anga means limbs. So 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs of yoga gives us a scientific method to practice and shows us a way in which direction we should take our practice. The first 2 limbs are called Yama and Niyama. Yama is the moral observance in which it can produce harmony, can make you feel the harmony with the universe. Niyama will help you to be in harmony with yourself. Yama has 5 principles in it, and Niyama has 5 principles in it. And after you observe Yama and Niyama, which we will see in detail in the next video, we go to Asana. As we all know, Asana is posture, and we have different ways of practicing Asana. There are different styles of yoga which help you to practice asanas. What is the main component, or what is the main practice when you do asana? What is the main benefit we get through asana practice? It's body awareness. We get a lot of awareness of what's happening in your body inside. You feel the pain when you're doing certain postures. You know where in your physical body you have the pain. For example, in your hamstrings, in your back, in your neck. So you are completely aware of what's happening in your body. That is the first level of awareness which you get by practicing yoga. And then, after we have a lot of awareness of our body, we know what's happening in our body is disease-free. And slowly we progress towards the next layer, the next subtle element, which is breath. So the body we can touch, feel and move. The breath you can still feel, you can't really see it, you can feel it. So that is a little more subtler than your body aspect. So that is where the 4th limb of Ashtanga comes into play, is your Pranayama. It is not just the physical breathing, it's the regulation of prana, which is also called Qi energy in Chinese tradition, which is the life force of our being. So Pranayama helps to regulate that life energy within ourselves. So once we master and once we are aware of our body, and then we slowly come in touch with our breath and be aware of our breath, how it works, and where it's not working well, where the prana is locked, where our energy is not sufficient. So once you get a lot of awareness of our breath, you can really find out what's going on in our mind. For example, when you're thinking deeply, you tend to make your breath very, very slow. Your breath calms down. You have a deep thought. Or when you're angry, when you're upset, you actually breathe fast. So the moment you know breath, you can know your mind. So it's a very, very beautiful interconnection between your breath and the mind. And this is the first 4 limbs, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. So Yama and Niyama are the principles which you should follow to be in harmony with the universe and your own self. Asana and Pranayama is to be aware of your body and to be aware of your prana. And then these 4 is called Bahiranga Sadhana, which means outside practice. This 4 will lead you slowly into your inside practice. That's Antaranga Sadhana, which is Pratyahara. What happens when you know your mind, when you know what your thoughts are? You don't essentially spend all the energy which is going outwards. We try to understand what is these thoughts made of and how to direct these thoughts. So slowly, all the energy which is consumed by all the sense organ comes within. So Pratyahara means to control the senses. The moment you practice a lot of pranayama, you automatically come to the stage of pratyahara. Your senses are withdrawn. Like a turtle, when there is any challenge or any danger, it withdraws its limbs into its own shell. So when we face a lot of different kinds of challenges in the environment, we're trying to, it's not being closed, it's not being away from what's happening, it's not cutting off from reality, but to really withdraw the energy inside, to feel who we really are, rather than letting it outside. That is pratyahara. And the more and more you practice pratyahara, withdrawal of your senses, slowly, slowly what happens? All the energy gathers into one point like a laser beam. That is dharana, that's absolute concentration, one-pointedness. All the energy suddenly comes and points in one direction. That is dharana. The more you establish your practice in dharana, the more you have this one-pointed awareness, it automatically leads you into the stage called dhyana or meditation. What happens when you're one-pointedness? When you're completely, for example, say you believe in certain type of faith or different types of God, you believe in particular mantra or sound, the more and more you chant, the more and more you believe, the more and more you do certain things according to your faith. That's one pointed focus. You're getting absorbed completely into it. So that makes meditation possible. That is dhyana. And more you're rooted in this practice of dhyana, enlightenment happens. That is a stage of samadhi. So the last 4 limbs, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, is called antaranga sadhana, which is like inward practice. So this is Ashtanga yoga. So the 8 limbs of yoga is beautifully explained in the Yoga Sutras, and what happens if you practice this, and what happens when you go from one limb to another. It's not necessarily a step-by-step practice. It's necessarily all limbs are equally important. So this is Ashtanga yoga. Namaste.